a song. Some of my earliest memories are musical, and in all my years, I've learned that songs are really powerful. I mean, they can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you want to move, and they can transport you back to a specific place and time where you can remember exactly how cool the air was to breathe that day, or what color everything became under the streetlights when they come on at night. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like coffee. It's magical. But why? So I want to get to the bottom of it. My name's Adam. I'm going to talk to every songwriter I can, and I'm going to find out first what they take in their coffee and then what it takes to make a great song. That's Coffee and a Song. Hey guys, Adam here. Welcome to the latest episode of Coffee and a Song. We're having a blast doing this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you are, take a second to go over to our YouTube channel, Jackshot Records. Subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when the latest episodes are coming out. Head over to Facebook, like our page, Jackshot Records, or Instagram at Jackshot Records. Anyway, enough about us. My guest today is one of Northern BC's bright, shining young musical talents. You may recognize him as the front man of one of the most energetic bands of this generation, the Coastal Drifters. Their electric live shows have been the thumping heartbeat to countless late-night parties with their anthemic original songs, driving crowds into frenzies, all while kicking ass and taking names. Their enthusiasm is infectious, and it doesn't get any more real or more powerful than these guys. But all that aside, just standing alone, he is a true songsmith, wearing his emotions on his sleeve. His songs are filled with struggles, heartbreak, positive vibes, and most importantly, the truth. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show, Mr. Oscar Carlick. Oscar, welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Always have the awkward cheers.
Oh yeah, perfect.
This is great because my son's name is Oscar too, and he doesn't get to meet many Oscars, so this is a bit of a...
I don't get to meet many Oscars.
Yeah, right? It's a bit of a... Actually, my sister is probably watching the show, but when we had picked out baby names when we were having a child, I remember phoning her at the time and telling her that I was going to name my son Oscar, and she actually laughed at me. She thought I was joking because at the time, it wasn't a common name. So I don't know if it hasn't been a common name for you either, right?
No.
So do you get all the Oscar jokes and stuff?
Oh yeah, Oscar my wiener, Oscar the
all that
Grouch,
stuff.
you know.
I think it's a great name. I always think of it as, it reminds me of like a boxer's name or something.
Oh, they like started off with like Oscar Not So Wild, then it went to Oscar Mild. You know. So
as you get older, you become Oscar Mild. I like that. No. All right, well, so listen. So one of the big things about the show now is like, you know, I've been doing this. I'm out of my element. I'm out in public and people start approaching me. It's really strange, but they all have one thing in mind. They just want to know, and when they heard you were on the show, they need to know, what do you take in your coffee?
I take 2 sugars and half a cream.
2 sugars and half a cream?
Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, so I try to keep it
minimum,
but I like the cream.
So Oscar mild on the cream,
Oscar
wild on the sugar.
Oh yeah.
I like it. Okay, all right. And what about the fancy coffees? Do you dig those? Lattes or...
Not really, not my thing. No.
Just straight coffee?
Yeah, no.
And is that your go-to coffee?
Yeah, no. If it's strong enough to give me the jitters, it's good enough.
That's what you like?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you hit the road, if you're going on a road trip or you got to go play a gig somewhere, do you get coffee for the road?
Yeah, mostly, and just at Timmy's or whatnot.
Timmy's?
Yeah.
You're Timmy's guy? There's been a bit of a, like, I've been keeping score back here. You know, everybody I ask, and it's kind of between Timmy's and McDonald's back and forth.
Yeah.
So
Timmy's is more nostalgic. You know,
yeah, for sure, right?
It's just a place to go, you know.
Yeah, I grew up on that stuff. Okay, so if money wasn't an issue, you know, someone just came and they just handed you a ticket to anywhere in the world, and they said, you can go have your favorite coffee anywhere in the world. Just sit out, look at the view, and drink a coffee. Where would it be?
Well, because like all coffee comes basically from Ethiopia, as much as it's not, you know, the best place to be, you know, like I would love to have a coffee from there, you know.
That'd be cool.
You know, apparently, like the mocha coffee bean and everything is like totally different from like what we get here because we put a shot of, what's it called, like chocolate syrup in it and everything. That's how you make the mocha, but over there it just naturally has that taste to the bean. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, that'd be cool.
Little coffee fact.
All right, so if he gives you 2 tickets, take me with you.
Okay.
I love mochas.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to get it right at the source. Okay, so that's enough about coffee. I just want to know about the music. Okay, so what's your earliest musical memory? Might have been when you were playing, might have been just remembering music, but like, what's the first thing you remember that music connected to you?
Well, maybe like my grandpa's always been like a big influence in my life with music. He just would play around the house, and it was just kind of natural. You know, wake up in the morning, you know, we lived with my grandparents there, and then like he was just be playing guitar, whatnot, and I can't tell you what song or whatever he was playing.
But just the memories of him playing, yeah. So that obviously had a huge impact on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So at what age did you decide to pick up the instrument yourself?
So about 12.
Okay.
About 12.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah, I was really young. He just kind of was like, oh, here's an acoustic guitar for you, and then it's like, oh, sweet. It was like a really cheap one. It was like $80, and then then he was like, just show me 3 chords, and then that's it. That took off from there. He didn't really mentor me too much. He just was like, all right, here are some chords. There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's not an uncommon story, right? Because with 3 chords, you can do a lot.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're like really weird 3 chords, then
like A9, E major, nines, whatever. Like, what am I supposed to do that?
Okay, and where did you grow up?
Here in Terrace.
Right here in Terrace?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been here your whole life?
We lived in Kamloops there for a little bit.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
Like my mom went to school and all that, and it was like kind of the starting of my life.
Okay.
That place was Kamloops, and it was then we moved here because there was more family.
Yeah. Yeah, got to go with the families. Although I love Kamloops too. We spent some time in Kamloops, and if you watch the intro to the show, there's a panning shot of some mountains looking down into some residential areas. That's Kamloops. Of all places, I put a picture of Kamloops in there.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So how would you say, growing up in Terrace and growing up in the north here, how would you say that's impacted you as a songwriter?
Mainly like what I talk about, and like there's this one song that we have called "Get Out of Town" with the Drifters. They like it was just about like how I just did not want to be stuck in a small town.
Yeah.
Because so it's like I like it, but I don't. I want more, but I also like the safe vibe of it.
It's home.
Yeah.
Right. It is home, but it is limited, right?
Yeah.
You're isolated and all those things. Yeah, that's really cool, and that's a great song, by the way. That's always a crowd favorite. Okay. What's your favorite way to listen to music? Do you like vinyl? Do you like old tapes? Do you like MP3s? What's your deal?
I just use my phone.
Just your phone,
yeah,
right?
It's like with Spotify, just click and then find new songs. All like no problem. So.
And do you make playlists and all that kind of stuff, or do you just go hunting for playlists?
I make my own playlists for myself out of the daily mixes that Spotify gives me.
Okay.
So like
cool.
Pick and choose what songs were good. And whatnot.
Do you find that a good resource for finding new music, new styles and stuff?
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, that's the one great thing about it. Like when I grew up, you kind of there was a bit of an underground scene with music. You would share it with each other, or maybe you go to the record store or whatever, and you'd have to talk to the guy who was, behind the counter, and maybe not always the nicest guy or whatever, but that would be how you got your input for what was new and fresh. But now with the internet, it's everywhere, which is cool. So who would you say as a songwriter were some of your early influences?
Fleetwood Mac was the biggest one. My aunt would always play the Rumors album, and like it just just the way that I felt while listening to it, felt like, oh, this is changing, life changing. Like it just
that is a great album.
Yeah, I still listen to it to this day.
Yeah, I mean that was created under a lot of turmoil. That album, like everybody was fighting and stuff, but man, like what a fantastic. So did you ever listen to their pre Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham catalog when they were like a blues band?
Yeah. That was interesting.
Very interesting. Different band altogether, right? Really seems like.
My cousin just showed me it, and then he was like, "Check this out, Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac." I was like, "Okay," and then it kind of influenced some other songs that came out of the Drifters.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, right on. I didn't realize until I was probably in my 20s that it was Fleetwood Mac who had written Black Magic Woman, which was Carlos Santana, big hit for Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
That's their,
I'm learning that now.
There you go. Education. So if you had this magic button, I gave you a magic button right now, and I said, okay, you get to press this. Not only do you have to press this button, and what it's going to do is it's going to freeze music to a certain decade or a 10-year span. And that's the music we're stuck with forever now. Where would you freeze that?
Holy moly, that's a big question. It's getting real here. Maybe maybe 80s actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like the like the poppy vibe there, and like Hall and Oates and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
I live for that.
Okay, so this I'm gonna skip ahead to a question. I gotta ask this, and we can edit this one out, so the rest of the guys in the Drifters don't have to know. People at work don't have to know. What's your guilty pleasure? Everybody has one. What's a song or a band that you don't want anyone to know, but when it comes on, you do your happy dance?
That's a hard one. No. Because like I don't really like feel guilt in any music that I listen to. So like if I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
But recently, probably like Lizzo's Juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I'm like I sit there and I bump it in my car sometimes.
Yeah. Nice.
I feel vibes.
Hall and Oates is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. There's one song by them, "You Make My Dreams Come True."
No,
that's infectious.
Timeless.
That thing.
That's timeless.
Yeah. So I'll dance like a maniac anytime with that one. Okay. And so when you write yourself, how do you usually write? Do you write on the guitar? Do you write on other instruments?
Mainly the guitar is where it's the starting point. But I usually come up with like a melody in my head for what I want or the direction I want to go with, and then I come up with a vibe before I write on the guitar. So like what kind of vibe of the song I want to dive into.
Okay.
And then it's the instrument is definitely the guitar first.
Okay. So you say a vibe. When you're thinking about a vibe, how do you imagine that in your head? So if you were going to try and write a song with someone, how would you get to that point? Is it like an atmosphere you're thinking about, or is it an energy, or like what is that?
Mainly like the atmosphere of what you're like the topic you're going to be singing about, or like say like if they have like a little guitar part that's it's like or the melody that's just like really melancholy, then you can like, oh, I'm gonna make a sad song or something. But you can also like switch it over and make it a happy sounding song, and then not really like dive right into it, so people kind of figure it out themselves. And it's like it's mainly the atmosphere, I guess.
Okay, yeah, sure. And so you get the melody first usually, and so are you always like recording stuff into your phone and stuff if you're driving? Like, are you kind of compiling things, ideas and stuff?
Oh yeah, no. Most of my space on my phone is used up of just random stuff.
Yeah. It's a great tool, right, for the modern songwriter.
Voice memos save my life.
I love that thing. And how easy is it for you with the lyrics afterwards? Like, so you get maybe a melody in mind, you get an atmosphere or a vibe you want to set. How do you go about finding the lyrics?
With whatever's going on in my life at the time.
Okay.
It can be, if say going through a tough time, rough patch, money's tight, all that, and then you just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna sing about how I'm struggling right now, or or if you're like really happy, you meet somebody that just brings in a good different atmosphere into your life, where it doesn't have to be like a potential partner or anything, just like somebody like your friend or someone where you just feel good around them, so you write a happy song.
Cool.
It doesn't have to be about them, but it's just like the vibe, the atmosphere, and like how you're feeling at that time.
So it's always coming from a place about yourself and what you're feeling and stuff. Yeah, cool. Very cool. Okay. And do you find it hard after, because I've written several different ways, and the way you're talking about where you have a melody first and then you go back, do you find it hard, or is it pretty easy for you to go back and find the guitar parts that fit that melody afterwards?
It can be trivial, but for the most part it's pretty easy. It's like setting your you set the tone already, so you can kind of come up with, makes it easier for me to find a way to incorporate it into what I'm feeling.
Okay.
So if I wanted to be happy, and like I'll make it happy, like simple chordings.
Yeah.
So it really varies though.
Okay.
It comes up awkward sometimes.
Cool. Okay. And are you like, do you scat lyrics when you're like, do you just kind of mumble nonsense to the melody and then kind of form it into words later? And do you ever surprise yourself with some of the lyrics that you come up with because of that? Like, do you ever say a word and you think, oh, I would never write that down, but it sounds so good in the song, and now it changes the way you're...
Yeah, no, there's a lot of songs where I just was like, holy moly, that actually sounds good. I want to get that in there. But,
Awesome.
sometimes I forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why you got to put it in the voice memos.
Yeah.
Right? Then you don't forget. So sometimes with songs like, other people's music or whatever, when you hear it, you don't love it right away. It takes a few plays or it takes a few times hearing it. Can you think of a song, like a popular song we might know that first time you heard it, bam, like you just love that song. It went into your Spotify playlist or whatever.
Come Down by Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like just the bass line hooked me right away.
Bass line.
Yeah.
So bass lines are very underrated, right? So like for generations, guitar players and singers would get a lot of credit in the front of a band. Mm-hmm. But without a proper bass player in a song or a proper bass line, you get nothing, right? That's pretty fair. Mm-hmm. So it was the bass line that hooked you, just the groove.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So is that something you think about when you're writing and composing yourself? Are you do you imagine the rest of the band and what they might be playing in those parts, or is that something you leave up to kind of the musicians to figure out?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. It just really matters on how I feel about the melody of what I have come up with. If it's something that can hold its own, then I won't think of what other people come up with. But if it's something that definitely feels like it needs some help,
okay,
then I'll think of something else so that I can give a idea to whoever plays bass for me, or whoever plays the drums, or plays the lead.
Right. Okay. What do you think? Like, if I had just one, if we only had 2 minutes to do this interview, this would be the one question I would ask you. Because this is really what I want to get to the bottom of. But overall, like, if you could sum it down to like a small paragraph, what do you think makes a good song great, or a great song great? What do you think it is overall?
Well, everything has a hook. And I think that it all comes down to melody.
Okay.
Because then that can set whatever mood you can come up with,
Cool. Very cool. Melody's important. Very important. Mm-hmm. That is the hook. Do you have a go-to melody in your head? I've got one. That if you're just, I don't know, out shoveling the driveway or raking leaves or something, that there's a go-to song that always pops in your head and you're just singing the melody? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Yeah. Can you share what it is, or is it?
On Melancholy Hill by the Gorillaz.
Gorillaz,
yeah.
Okay, wow. And it just always comes in and out?
Yeah, no, it just comes out of nowhere. It's like my feel-good song, it's like, it could be sad. I'm not too sure what the lyrics are. The melody.
The melody got you hooked.
Yeah, so
yeah. The power of a great melody, man. It doesn't get any... For me, it's the Beach Boys, which... Beach Boys are huge, but Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys. The chorus to that song comes into my head all the time. It's like a parasite in my brain. All right. I've already asked a bunch of these questions, so I'm just skipping ahead. But when you're writing a song, and you get to that point where you feel like it's, done, or pretty much done, do you feel compelled to share it? Do you feel like part of that process is to take that song out and perform it for people?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily perform it for people. I kind of send it to people that I trust the way that they think of songs and what they think of it. Because I have a whole group of friends that I just send music to, and I'm like, okay, how do you feel about this? What kind of vibe do you get it from it? And I want everyone to be on the same page. And even if there's like one or two people that are like, it sounds like this, and it's like way different from what I was trying to go for, I'm like, all right, back to the drawing boards.
Okay.
I kind of get very perfectionist when it comes to new songs.
That's cool, and that's really great that you have the sounding boards to do that with. It's really cool. Sometimes for me, I've felt like when I've shared it with people, maybe it was too early. I didn't realize this until I was a bit older, and that's that I thought when people heard a rough cut of a song, I thought everybody could understand what it's supposed to sound like when it's finished. They could hear the drum parts in there, and they could hear the bass and all, but people can't. Quite often, just a consumer of music will just hear what's presented in front of them. So it's important to know the crowd you're presenting it to, I guess, for the feedback.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, if there was a young songwriter today or potential songwriter today that just went out and bought their first instrument and they wanted to get going, they want to do it, what advice would you give to them?
Um, don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, because it happens, right? You fail, you get rejection, you get rejected.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have shows that are really good. Or lucky enough for the Drifters, it was the best first show we could ever have. Really pumped our tires, but then after that, it sort of kind of went to a decline because friends and family stopped showing up. It was more so like people that were like, okay, maybe I'll go check it out, and they checked it out, and they're like, oh, that was actually kind of fun. But we had a show where there was like 5 people, and 4 of them were the band that were playing, opening for us.
Yeah.
I mean, not opening. They're the headliners, and we were the opening act. But there was only 5 people, and there's one drunk guy that he's like, I'll buy a round for everyone. It was just, it was great. It was like the Gators here.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
Oh man, that was rough. Poor guys. Like they came from PG to do it, and then we played. I was like, you know what? We gotta play it like as if we're playing for thousands of people. You're gonna give these 4 guys the show of their life.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're happy to see us. Because the moment you show one person equals potentially, another person, right? Like,
Totally.
so it just kind of grows that way. It takes time, and you do it through trial and error.
That's
whether
right.
it's gonna be a good show or a bad show.
Cool. And always give it that 110%, like you said, even to the empty chairs, and that'll win people over. And you guys have done that. Like, I mean, you guys, your shows have always been fantastic live. I've always enjoyed it. The energy is like off the charts. All right, so if money was not involved in this equation at all, what's a famous or popular song that you wish you had written?
Maybe back onto actually no, maybe like Rich Girl by Hall & Oates.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That one's really good vibes too.
That is a cool tune.
And it just like how many chords are in there, and like it's really cool. It's a cool song, but yeah, maybe Rich Girl.
Okay, cool. Hey, have you ever watched the show he does? I don't know if he's still producing it or not, but it was called Live from Daryl's House.
No.
Yeah, he started doing an online show. I mean, maybe not as highbrow and high budget as what we're doing here, but that's a joke. But he would get, basically he would get famous musicians on there, and they would do a performance, and sometimes they do a Hall & Oates song, sometimes they do like that performer song or whatever, and they just I've watched a few of the episodes. It was pretty cool, so that's worth checking out. You ever collaborate with your songwriting? I know you have the soundboarding people that you send it to and stuff, but do you ever just collaborate with other writers?
Yeah, no, I've worked with Sim Wilson, and there's been other people. It's not really like as because Sim actually kind of like we wrote songs together,
right?
As with other people to kind of like give their input,
right?
So like when I'm just playing a song and they're like, actually it'd be cool if you did this, and then like, but Sim Wilson's the only one that I actually finished songs with.
Cool. And she's extremely talented as well. Man, off the charts. So, if a song you wrote blew up tomorrow, maybe Hall & Oates covered it, right? Mm-hmm. They covered your song. They did a comeback tour, and it went off the charts. And you get a call from your manager or your agent, and they say, "Listen, everybody in the world wants to work with you right now. You got one date, in July." And you get to work with whoever you want. Who would you pick to collaborate with?
That's a big one. You're asking all these real intense questions. I don't know. Maybe Bruno Mars actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, like everything he touches kind of seems to be like what's in nowadays.
Right.
It's like a very interesting one for me because like I don't really enjoy pop music nowadays as much, but
right.
Once I get more diving into it and realize that how much like music he's actually been part of, that It's really like it's a big margin of music that he's touched.
Super talented guy.
Yeah.
Right from when he was a little kid, he did that. He used to be an Elvis impersonator when he was like 6 years old or something. So I know it's crazy times in the world right now, you know, like with gigs and stuff. There's not a lot going on for everybody and stuff with the climate of the world. But what have you been up to musically lately? What's your...
I'm actually working on like an album, or not album. I guess it's just like we can just send out singles at first, and then maybe an EP.
Cool.
Then work myself up to an album, just like my solo stuff, and trying to. I'm taking this time to kind of just buckle down and get better as well as a musician.
Cool, very cool. So do you have a release date in mind?
No, I haven't.
Not quite, eh? So it's just the early stages?
Very early.
Well, you're going to have to make sure you let us know, and then we can put the word out so that people who watch the show and stuff, we can put the word out so they know where to find that, because that's I'm really interested to see that. That'll be cool. Okay. And you brought an original tune today.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Share with us.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the name of this song?
This one's called Euphoria.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And what was the epiphany moment with this song? Where did this come from? How did you get it? What was the secret sauce?
It was kind of a point in my last relationship where you really believe that this is where you need to be, but you ignore the signs of that, how toxic it has become.
Right.
Like, it's no bad blood with the person that I had the relationship with, but it was just we weren't working together on fixing. Like, we tried to fix each other rather than fix ourselves and then fix each other. You know, like if we had issues, we would rely on each other a lot, and you know, the chorus is like, you know, this love is all I got, and it's because that's really what I believe, that what was perfect was that was what we needed to be perfect, was just to stay together, and then we can get through it and all that. But you know, sometimes it's not love that, you know, makes a relationship. It's, you know, the matter of trust, respect, and you know, like it was a turning point in my life for sure.
Wow, that's an important song.
Oh yeah.
Very important song. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing it. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Well, love to hear it. So this is Oscar Carlick with Euphoria.
Ooh. Mistakes. It's time that you've been insane. I got this feeling I can't shake. What we bring is only pain. This love is all I've got. It's all too much for me. Euphoria's on the brink. This ship will sink on me. This love is all I've got. It's all too much for me. Euphoria's on the brink, the ship will sink on me.
Wow, man. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, great job. That is a powerful, important song. I feel like that's a turning point in my life now. Oh, you captured something. That was really terrific, man.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you will come back again, especially when the album is, or the singles are ready to come out or whatever. It'd be great to come back and share one of those with us and we can get that out to the world. But I'd love to have you back. Before you go, though, we've got a little tradition here at Coffee and a Song. The season 1 mug of fame. Would you mind giving me a little autograph on that sucker?
Perfect.
And where can we find some of your music, or where can we follow you, or where can we...
I don't really have a page yet,
Okay.
unfortunately, but you can always follow Drifters there.
Follow the Coastal Drifters. You find them on Facebook.
Yeah, we have some songs on Bandcamp as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Check out the Coastal Drifters. These guys are fantastic. We're going to have Oscar back as soon as we can. All that aside, that's it for Coffee and a Song today. Thank you for tuning in. Until the next time, take care.